Thank you all for joining us this afternoon for our City of Tucson and Pima County Consortium's home ownership housing request for proposals, or RFP. My name is Andrew Paredes. I am the Community Development Administrator here with the City of Tucson. Alexa Johnson, our Community Development Manager, is joining us. And the rest of our home team, Mary Leon, who you may know, is our project coordinator, working with our applicants kind of on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis with regard to draws and project maintenance. And Kat Polson, our management assistant, is joining us today, being our technical assistance guru for today's webinar. So we appreciate her very much. Of note, the webinar and the RFP today are covering the city's offering of financial assistance for the development or acquisition of affordable homeownership projects. So these are funds kind of in layman's terms for the construction or acquisition of properties that can then be sold to low-income and moderate income homeowners. So these are not individual based homeownership or rental assistance. These are grants aimed at community development organizations to be able to construct and then sell homeownership projects. If you are looking for individual based homeownership or rental assistance, please visit our city webpage, and Alexa will put information about that in the chat if that's what you are looking for. If you would please, for our attendees, please type your name and organization into the chat so we can keep a record of everybody who attended today. If you're having technical difficulties, please first try logging out and logging back in. If that doesn't work, we are recording this webinar, and we will be posting it on the city's page so everybody has access to the information. Please remain muted during the presentation, and we will hold plenty of time for question and answer after the presentation. So about 15 minutes for the presentation, and after that, we have plenty of time for Q&A. And as I said, the slides from today's presentation will be posted on our city webpage. Before I get started, please let us know in the chat if we have any members of the press in attendance today. And it looks like Laura is in attendance. Thank you very much, Laura. Our plans today are to go over this request for proposals, the eligible activities, and the types of financing available. This is the first time in a couple of years we have done a dedicated home ownership development request for proposals. So to give you an overview, the City of Tucson and Pima County form a consortium to receive jointly federal HUD home entitlement grants each year. We have approximately $1.05 million available through this solicitation. Applicants and awardees for this solicitation must be either certified or eligible community housing development organizations, or what we refer to as CHODOs. Applicants may request any amount up to $500,000. So we anticipate making 2 to 3 awards, but those will really depend on the applications and the applicant amounts. Next slide, please. As you know, the RFP was posted last week on November 25th. If you haven't seen that yet, you can see a copy of it on our City of Tucson PCHIP website. Eligible activities under this RFP are for homeownership housing development opportunities. So that would be the acquisition or rehab of existing housing, or the new construction, acquisition, or rehab of housing projects. Projects and properties are eligible whether they are either inside the City of Tucson as well as in surrounding Pima County. So not only projects, or proposed projects inside City of Tucson limits, but also projects inside Marana or Oro Valley or Saurita or any other municipality or unincorporated portions of Pima County are also eligible to apply under this solicitation. Um, Properties and projects can be site-built single-family homes. They can be attached duplexes, quadplexes, or multifamily housing. Manufactured housing is eligible, provided that it's affixed to permanent foundations. Projects must begin work within 12 months of executing their contract with the city and must be completed within 2 years of executed contract. Eligible costs: acquisition of existing housing, acquisition of vacant land are eligible. Development hard costs, so construction costs are eligible, as well as related soft costs, so architecture, engineering, permit fees, planning and zoning. Those are all eligible costs as they're related to an acquisition or a development. Eligible occupants. All of this housing must be developed and sold to what HUD defines as a low-income families or residents, those earning at or below 80% of the area median income. That eligibility is determined at initial occupancy or purchase by the first homeowner. After that, a homeowner can purchase the house now, and as their family or career grows and they begin to earn more money, they are continued eligible. So there's no retesting of income after initial occupancy. These awards are made as gap financing awards, whether they are loans or grants, I'll get to in a moment. But depending on the amount of funds awarded and the number of units applied for, the affordability periods range between 5 and 15 years. And these affordability periods are attached to the individual homes that are sold to the low-income home buyers. Depending on the project, these units will be obligated based on either what's called a resale model, meaning that the home, when it's sold from the initial owner to the new owner, must be sold to a low income. The next occupant must be a low income home buyer, or these could be subject to the recapture model, meaning that the city's financial assistance will be paid back when the home is sold, so that the city can reuse that money for another eligible homeownership project in the years to come. And the determination between resale and recapture is described a little bit more in the RFP itself, and will be discussed with the applicant based on the individual specs of the application. So our application process, like our rental development RFP, applicants must register and make their application through the city's neighborly application portal. You see here and in the RFP web links to register as an applicant, and then from there go into the application portal to fill out all the required application screens, as well as upload the required attachments. Of note, paper or strictly emailed applications will not be accepted. All applications must be submitted through the neighborly application portal. Applications are due on January 9th. All applications must meet the minimum threshold to move forward to the next application review stage. When we receive applications on the 9th, they will be screened initially by city and county staff. And if they are lacking some required information to meet the minimum threshold, the applicant will be notified and given some time to correct that deficiency or upload additional information in order to meet threshold. All of that must be done by January 21st, at which point all applications are final and will begin the review process. Applications, will be reviewed by a city-county review panel, and all applications will be reviewed against the scoring criteria listed in the RFP, and only application material uploaded to the neighborly portal as part of the application. Only that material will be reviewed. So additional application information sent in or letters received or anything like that after the January 21st date will not be part of the formal review. Excuse me. As you know, the RFPs were released last week. This is the pre-proposal webinar. Applications are due on the 1st. Applicants will be given additional time through January 21st to, upload any of the minimum threshold criteria, at which point applications are final, and those that meet threshold will be reviewed for approval. Announcements of award recommendations will be made in late February and early March, and recommendations for award will be forwarded to mayor and council for the second meeting in March. Mayor and council will make the final decision, and award letters will be sent out prior to April 1st. Now it is time for any questions and follow-up you all might have. If you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat or raise your hand, and you'll be able to come off of mute and ask your question, live and in person, so to speak. I think one area to highlight is that this solicitation is specifically aimed at community housing development organizations, or CHODOs, and the definition of which is part of the RFP. And every year HUD requires the city and county to set aside a certain portion of its funds available to CHODOs. So we have from time to time made what we call CHODO set-aside funds available specifically targeted at homeownership development opportunities. So this year is one of those opportunities. Of note, CHODOs are certainly eligible to apply for funds to develop rental properties, and we have a concurrent RFP going for that. We just finished that webinar, and that will be posted on our website. So if there are any CHODOs in attendance who are interested in applying for both rental development and homeownership development opportunities, you are certainly welcome to do that. A CHODO during this RFP cycle could submit two applications, one for rental and one for homeownership, through the appropriate RFPs, and that is certainly allowable. Any other questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Feel free to type them in the chat or raise your hand if you have anything that we didn't cover. As you are going along in the application process, you see on the screen here our HCD grants email inbox. That's where we will take all of your questions and then post the questions and answers to our website each Monday. Therefore, all applicants have the benefit of the Q&A. So we really do our best not to answer questions individually, but rather to take those questions and then post the Q&A for the benefit of everybody going through the RFP and the application process. So please do submit your questions if you have them to the HCD grants inbox, and then every Monday we will post questions and answers directly to the FAQ portion of the PCHIP website. So I'll give one more shout out for questions because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Otherwise, we will sign off and let you all get on with what I hope is a wonderful weekend. Not seeing any questions, folks. We appreciate you. Thank you for attending the webinar. And again, if you have questions as you're going through the application process, please email them to the HCD grants inbox. With that, we will sign off and wish you all a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.